I think we should start, first of all, with an apology to shareholders who've had to wait much too long for these results. The bottom line is we've gone through an enormous period of growth. We've virtually doubled the size of the company in 18 months. We've made 2 acquisitions. We've done everything we said we'd do. In the course of that, the complexity of the company increased dramatically. In January this year, we realized there was that complexity, and we brought in new auditors, BDO, in order to make sure we had completely robust systems in place and that we were dealing with everything properly. Now, that was a great decision to take, as it turned out, because we found that we didn't have those systems in place. And sadly, we found we were wanting in terms of our basic financial functions, and that there was a danger of, things really going off the rails there. So the audit committee, asked BDO to conduct a full investigation and audit, to make recommendations on changes to our systems, etc., etc. That process took an enormous amount of time, because when you ask somebody like BDO to do a job properly, they do it properly. And we really had no idea of how long that was going to be taking, because we'd never been through that. But we didn't want to compromise in it being done properly, and we haven't done. We have changed an enormous amount of our systems internally. We will change more. We're implementing a set of recommendations. Our previous CFO has left the business, and we've got a new interim CFO. Along with all of that, actually, the underlying numbers in the business are what we wanted them to be. So there's nothing wrong with the business. And BDO certainly didn't discover any irregularities, any big lumps of revenue that were missing or overstated or whatever. We've made some adjustments to previous years, and that's because their technical team believed that our previous auditors had not completely technically done what they should have done. So there's an element of restating, but nothing that changes the fundamental numbers. We've deferred some revenue from 2017 into 18, because BDO's view is that even though IFRS 15 doesn't come in till the 1st of January 2018, we should be preparing for it. So our accounts represent that. And that's caused about $500,000 to come off the turnover. But we've still got, amazing growth in turnover, 50% up year on year, etc., etc. So nothing really wrong with the fundamentals. I am ashamed about the delay, really ashamed about it. But looking back on it, I hope we will say it was a necessary process in order to get the company in exactly the right place to manage the kind of growth that's going on in the business. The key thing to look at in the 2017 numbers is where we've ended up after 3 years of really spectacular growth. We promised in 2014, when we created the business, that over the 3 years we would grow turnover, that we would increase our licensing turnover, particularly because that's the high margin, 90% margin turnover. We said we would consolidate the sector. We've done that. We've consolidated. We've acquired our 2 biggest competitors in Europe. We've taken the business from a turnover of 10.4 million to nearly 17 million and a predicted 20-odd million in 2018. But probably more importantly is the underlying growth in that licensing revenue. We've seen a 74% growth year on year in licensing revenue, which means our gross margin now is over 70%, whereas it started 3 years ago under 60%. That increase in margin leads directly to bottom line growth, and our EBITDA is significantly reduced on last year and is reducing still as we speak. The final piece of the jigsaw, which we're putting in place in 2018, is consolidating the platforms that we acquired, taking costs out of the business. That will lead to profit and cash flow positivity. That's what we've always said H2 18 would be about, and I can tell you we are in the middle of that right now, and that's where we're going to end up. So our board is committed to profitability and cash flow positivity in the business by the time we get to the end of 2018. And at that point, this is a business which is delivering a 72% at least gross margin. the bottom line growth will be spectacular. 2017 has seen a big rise in capital expenditure. A lot of that is capitalization of development costs. That's something BDO were always very keen that we should do. And when we acquired 24/7, we acquired an enormous number of new developers. So we'd always capitalized some of our development cost. We virtually doubled our development team, and we've more than doubled the capitalization. You'll see that continue. We will continue now under BDO's guidance as auditors to capitalize development costs to a very strict set of criteria involving us identifying specific products, specific revenue that we're going to earn over a period, and writing them off over that period. As we consolidate the platforms, we will be losing some of that development cost overall, and that will result in a reduction in the capex cost. But the principle won't go away, which is that we will always capitalize some of our development cost. The big thing for us currently is the consolidation of the technology platforms. Essentially, over the last 2 years, in purchasing Snow White in France and 24/7 in Copenhagen, we purchased two businesses who did very similar things to us. And so they had a platform which could deliver streamed music to any device. They had a catalogue of the world's music collection, neither of them quite the size that we were, but both doing very much the same thing. They were based on slightly different technologies than us, and we've spent the last 9 or 10 months consolidating those technologies. That job is nearly finished. We expect it to be finished by October. At that point, we will operate the whole business on a single platform. That will mean we can recognize some significant cost savings at consolidation. We expect that cost saving to occur in September, October this year. Our losses have been reducing steadily. I'm not going to tell you what they're running at now because that would be improper, but I can tell you that our progress from 2017 into 2018, it has been the same. And in fact, people will see from our statement that actually the growth has continued into H1 2018. Our revenue growth is actually accelerating slightly into H1 2018. So one could read from that anyway the losses would be reducing, but the real thing that will take those losses away and turn us into cash flow positivity and PBT profit will be the consolidations of the platform and the taking out of something around 1.5 million of costs in a year. And that will show a real change in the business. That for me is the inflection point that we've been working to for the last 3 years. It's been about consolidation. It's been about rising the turnover. It's been about concentrating on that high margin turnover so that our overall margin gets to 72%. And then the final chink in the job is to take out the costs and consolidate the platforms. And we will be there in a matter of weeks. As well as the consolidation that I've talked about in terms of the 24/7 platform and how we can bring that into the 7digital platform and save costs, really the highlight of the 24/7 acquisition was the relationship we got with MediaMarkt Saturn, who previously had owned the business and went from owning that business to being a large shareholder in our business, but our largest customer. They're significant, not just because they will have spent something like 6 million euros with us this year, but they represent exactly the kind of large client who we expect to be clients of the business. What 7digital does is provide a platform for companies who want to use streaming music as part of their business. Not necessarily people who want to run music services as their business, but people who realize that music is part of the offering they have to make to customers. Now, Amazon has shown the way in retail. Tesla is showing the way in the connected car. In all of these sectors, you will see leaders who are going out first and showing the rest of the market what to do. MediaMarkt Saturn is one of those companies. It has determined that it is going to beat Amazon at its own game. And therefore, it is determined that music is, for example, going to be part of its offering to its loyalty card holders. It's determined that music is going to be part of its relationship with local media. So we have launched in Germany, the Netherlands, and in the next few weeks in Spain, MediaMarkt Saturn's Duke Music Service, which in each territory is a combination of radio and streamed music. It brings to MediaMarkt Saturn's customers the ability to get free music because of their relationship with the store in exactly the same way that Amazon Prime customers get free music from their Amazon player. We've got more than 50,000 users already to the Duke Music Services in those 3 territories. MediaMarkt Saturn have said they want to roll Duke out to all 15 territories where they're present. So that is one huge customer. To me, the significance of that, though, is twofold. Obviously, it puts rocket fuel into our business, but it means other large retailers in the world look at that and go, "Ooh, okay, that's what we should be doing." It also means we have a product for them. I can't name any names, but we're in conversation with probably, the top 2 retailers in the world in that sector about doing exactly the same as MediaMarkt Saturn are doing in Europe. As a retailer, it's what you have to do. Now, retail isn't our only sales vertical, but retail has powered the last 12 months because of MediaMarkt Saturn. But the same principle is being extended in all sorts of industries. So take the automotive industry, connected cars. Until now, you could connect your iPhone to your BMW console with a cable or with Bluetooth and play your Apple Music. Terrific. But that doesn't do anything for BMW. Elon Musk is the first person in the auto business to say, actually, I don't want to do that. I want to give my customers a Tesla music service because I've realized that actually music is incredibly sticky. It gives me lots of data about my customers, and it means that the next car they buy is likely to be a Tesla because they've got a Tesla music service. The same applies in mobile. One of our biggest customers is Scandinavian Mobile Network, TDC. They don't bundle Spotify or Apple Music to their subscribers. They bundle their own music service called UC, which we power. They're a big customer of ours. They reckon that last year they saved millions of euros, something like 20 million is their estimate of churn because they have their own music service. Because that means somebody is a loyal customer. They're not just buying you as a pipe if you're a mobile network. They're with you because you give them a music service as well. If you're a mobile network that just bundles Spotify, well, anybody can get Spotify from anywhere else. So there's no premium to that. In all sorts of places, therefore, you're beginning to see music become part of a broader offering. Look at our customer wins last year. Global Eagle, one of the world's leading providers of airline in-flight entertainment. Airplanes are connected. So actually that gives Global Eagle the opportunity to allow their customers, their airline customers, to bundle music as part of the offering. So you've got your own streamed music service when you get on the plane, and maybe you can upload your Spotify playlists into that. Another big area is retail music. We've a customer that we won last year. We're not allowed to name them because it's an extremely competitive sector, and what they're doing is very innovative using our platform. But they're one of the largest suppliers in the world, and we're currently working with them in 20 countries, of retail music in the store. So at the moment, a lot of stores, there's a CD in the corner, the shop manager comes in, puts his favorite tunes on, and off you go. That's not the future. The future is that you walk into a store and the music is customized for you, for that store, for the geography, for the time of day, for the way the retail trends are going. In order to do that, this company is using our platform to create in thousands, hundreds of thousands of retailers throughout the world, a fully interactive streamed music service, which the local manager can adapt, but which the company can manage globally. So streamed music is not just about $9.99 services on Apple and Spotify. There are 160 million people paying $9.99, 120 pounds a year for streamed music. There are about 3 billion people every day who listen to music. The growth market for us is the 2.8 billion who will be listening to streamed music in their car, with their loyalty card, on their mobile, in an aeroplane, in all of those places. The companies that provide those services need somebody to build it for them because they don't want to be Spotify themselves. That's what 7digital does. The growth in that market is what is leading to the growth in our business. The business with MediaMarkt Saturn is just a very important indicator of where that market is going. I think one of the biggest areas of growth for streaming music is the home. Something like 80% of music that's consumed is consumed in the home, and it's consumed in an analog way. So penetration of digital streaming into in-home listening is somewhere between 8 and 12%. It's minuscule. That's because we're all listening to the radio, putting CDs on, doing all of the things we've always done. Because actually, if you're really tech savvy and really keen, you take your mobile, you sync it with some docking station, and you play your Spotify or your Apple Music. That's not going to be the way of it. And the thing that is demonstrating this most powerfully is the world of connected speakers. And Amazon have demonstrated that the ability to give somebody music on a connected loudspeaker for what they perceive as free transforms people's listening. An example is that if we look at normal listening in the home to music, 60-70% of it will be to the radio, 30-40 to music that you're choosing yourself. That is completely reversed once somebody has an Amazon Echo. They use it to stream much, much more music than anybody does using Spotify or Apple Music. You're talking about hours a day of streaming in home. So I think the Amazon Echo will do for in-home digital what the iPhone did for digital music generally. We often think of the digital music industry as being, this huge industry that's, everywhere. It started with the iPhone. If it hadn't been for the iPhone, nobody would have developed all the things that followed. And actually, digital music is still a mobile phone business. What Amazon's Echo does is it's a completely new device category. What that means to us is that everybody who makes smart speakers, everybody who wants to provide music in the home, whether it's a broadband operator or a manufacturer, I shan't name them because I'll be in danger of naming our potential customers, but somebody who makes connected speakers, suddenly realize that what Amazon's showing, in the same way that Apple did with the iPhone and Apple and the original iTunes, is they're showing the way ahead to a completely new sector. The connected home will transform the way people listen to digital music in the home. And it's going to be an enormous growth sector for us, I think, in the next 2 years.